The World Cup round of 16 is here. My name is Corbin from the Parlay Club, and I've got the best bets and the plays the books do not want you known about. As always, drop a like, comment, subscribe, all of that fun stuff. Let me know who you think is going to win, whether you agree, disagree, all of that fun stuff. Let's get right into it. So, coming off of the last predictions video, I have to say I feel like it went pretty well. The bets have been pretty good this week, which we'll get to later. But we can go straight into Morocco versus Canada, and I feel like this is a pretty one-sided opinion. I love Morocco in this matchup in all kind of areas that you can bet on this game. Canada have not impressed me in the slightest. I had them last round, draw no bet against South Africa, and that luckily came through. But you would expect Canada to have dominated that game against South Africa, who are a really poor side to be honest. But it was really South Africa towards the end that were dominating the ball, knocking it around, and Canada kind of looked leggy. The press wasn't there. There was no organisation. It was very lucky that they scored a last-minute banger of a goal from outside the box from their midfielder. Again, it just they should have flown past South Africa for me. And then on the flip side, you look at Morocco, who are such a strong team, who we've seen over multiple years now. They dominated the game versus the Dutch. It doesn't look like that on the scoreline because obviously they came through on penalties, but they had like 70% of the ball and like a 1.4 xG to Netherlands that didn't even have a 0.5 xG, I don't think. If you watch the game, Morocco were all over them. Morocco have been a strong side. They probably should have beaten Brazil in the group stage and they would have won every game at that point. I feel like they've been the better side in every game, and I think they're such a run machine that I think they're just going to have too much for Canada in every kind of aspect of this game. For Canada, I always feel like the key to their success is through the wings with the likes of Buchanan on one side and maybe Alphonso Davies starts this game. He came on at the end of last game and he looked a little bit promising, but like he didn't have the legs or the sharpness as you can expect coming back from such a bad injury. Quite honestly, I just think all of I'm going to say Canada's strengths, but the way they play feeds straight into Morocco's hands. Like they've got the really strong wide areas with like Diaz and Hakimi. I don't see a world where Canada kind of gets on top here. They might any team can nick a 1-0 goal, but I then think Morocco are going to peg them back so much, and I don't see that Canada defense keeping them out. So I'm looking at Moneyline. I have them as a client play at minus. I think I have slightly better odds than minus 140. I think I have nearer the minus 120 range if I had to remember. I love the minus 300 to advance. Even if it goes to extra time, I think they're the stronger physically. And if it goes to penalties, I definitely prefer their penalty takers and their goalkeeper. They've had experience winning not just the shootout versus the Netherlands, but they've obviously played many other shootouts recently, going back to the last World Cup. They played in the one at AFCON, I think. They didn't win that one, but it kind of, to me, all leads that Morocco is going to win. I also love draw no bet. It's going to be juicier, but where is it? Again, minus 400. I just don't see how this Morocco side lose in 90 minutes. I also have this Morocco draw no bet. I think it was about minus 400 in a client play currently. So yeah, I'm everything basically on the Moroccan side. I don't really give Canada much hope in the slightest. A prop that has been quite good, if I can find it. They've probably moved the line at this point. Yeah, it was Hakimi to. Oh, that's not Hakimi. That's Hakimi. It was Hakimi to have one or two shots, but now it's juiced to minus 310, which kind of puts it a little crazy. But yeah, basically love all things Morocco in this one. Onto the next one. Again, this is what I've actually parlayed with Morocco in a client play is France to win in 90 minutes, so the money line. I don't see how a world in which the French do not continue to dominate this game. I mean, they have so much firepower that we say it over and over again. If Mbappe doesn't have a good game, you've still got Barcola or Doué, you've still got Elise, you've still got Dembele. It only takes one of those to have a good game, and at the minute, at least three of the four seem to be having a good game. I don't see a world in which Paraguay keep them out or do something that none of these other teams have. Paraguay obviously came through on penalties against Germany, but Germany are not even in the same stratosphere as in the French in terms of their firepower and how good they are. The only downside for the French is, I believe, Tchouameni, one of their starting midfielders, is out injured. Uh, Not sure on what the injury is, but I saw it whilst I was previewing this game. I don't think it's going to... It might make a difference later if Tchouameni is out for longer, but I think everything still leads to the French in many aspects. What is them? Where is their team props? Again, you look at it, it's over 1.5 feels great at minus 333. Over 2.5, I think they've hit that in maybe every game, or at least a lot of them. Again, I love this. I think they blow Paraguay out of the water. You look at who Paraguay have got in attack, and I've said the French defense can be suspect, but I don't see Paraguay having the team to do it. They have an all right defense, but again, when you're playing the French, it's like a whole different game to some of the teams that they've had to play. So short and sweet, but I just think it's the French in by murder, quite honestly. So yeah, Morocco and France are probably the two pieces I'm strongest on at the minute. So heavily recommend putting those two together, like I have. Onto a game I'm expecting to be a lot closer is Brazil versus Norway. I'm expecting both. Well, both defenses are very sus to me. I don't think they're particularly strong, particularly on the Norwegian side. I don't like their defense in the slightest. Uh, Brazil scraped through past Japan, scoring a last minute, I think it was like 95th minute winner. I feel very feels very harsh for the Japan guys. But I'm gonna keep going back to it. It seems to be a common play. I've seen a lot of people on it. This tournament, but it's both teams to score. We played it in the last round, Norway and Ivory Coast, and it ended 2-1 to the Norwegians. Again, Norway's attack is like decent to good. I mean, they've got Haaland, so they only have to give him one or two chances, and he normally buries it. I've forgotten the name. It'll probably tell me if I go to their goal scorers, but I love their left winger, Nusa. He has so much pace. He looks an absolute threat. I'm surprised he scored last game. Now, admittedly, it was a banger, and I don't know how often he does that. But plus 550 sounds pretty good on someone with that kind of talent. Sorloth has looked like a threat, although I still don't like him playing out on the wing. I think they should play him centrally closer to Haaland, who, again, plus 120. If anyone's going to score for the Norwegians, it's probably going to be him. Overall, I'm going to lean Brazil, but like, is there like a... Let's see if we can do a little bet builder here. So I want Brazil to qualify, and I want... Let's just see what total goals over 1.5 is. Minus 145. This sounds great to me. I think Brazil have the stronger base and kind of midfield. I don't like their midfield, but I think it's strong enough against a team like Norway. Then you look up front with the likes of Cunha and I've forgotten his name now, Vinicius Jr. I think they're going to have too much, but I think this game screams overs and both teams to score, quite honestly. But I'll go like Brazil to edge it like 2-1, I think, against Norway, who seem to be the team that the public and everyone's kind of adopted. And you can see why with their fans and some of their more recognizable players, like the fandom for Haaland has gone through the roof. So can't complain. I love that man. On to Mexico versus England. Again, I feel like I'm going to be very biased in this one because although I'm English, I love this Mexican team and they're who I've basically supported for the last 20 odd years. I feel like this game's been talked about quite a lot. It's quite... Everyone kind of seems to have the same opinion. So I think there's huge plus points for the Mexicans in a multiple kind of areas. They're obviously at home, so the crowd is going to be at least 70% Mexican. It's at altitude, which I think is going to harm the English players significantly as the game goes on, which we'll get into why I think that's so important in a minute. At the Azteca, again, Mexicans haven't lost there in so many years. I don't count that stat so much just because of the level of opposition, but again, it's a nice stat. I think that kind of leads into the altitude kind of factor in the fitness. The Mexicans have obviously been playing there this whole tournament. The English have only just arrived. Uh, the preparation doesn't feel great on that kind of front. For me, I think the first 25 minutes up until that first hydration break are going to be so important. If Mexico can get ahead early and get off to a fast start like they've done in 3 or 4 of their games, if I remember, particularly the last round, if they can start really fast with a high press and nick a goal, I think that I don't want to say it puts England out of it, but it puts them at a huge disadvantage. We've seen before England have had to score late goals. I think it was against, was it Panama or Ghana? I forget which one of those games they scored late. Obviously, they came from a goal behind in the last round. To me, it all kind of leads to if Mexico get the early goal, I don't think England have the same kind of thrust and go ability at altitude to keep going and break down this Mexico team fast enough. Likewise, I think England have some fitness issues. We obviously talk about the right back issue where they've got Jed Spence, who is a woeful right back in my opinion. I'd love to see Quinones versus him. What is Quinones to score a goal? Plus 280 sounds a little interesting. That's definitely the right side of England's defense is definitely a lot weaker than the left side. So I feel like that's where they may look to go at. I was playing Quinones shots earlier in the tournament. Let's see what that's now at as well. Quinones. I like this as a parlay piece. I'd have to dig into it and remind myself how he's been doing since then. But again, I think most of the attack is kind of going to go through the left side. Um, Also, the early goal would change so much in the way that Mexico approach this game. If Mexico don't score early, I feel like it's going to be like a more of a 50-50 midfield battle, which may lead itself to the English having more of a hope. But if they get that early goal, that then means that they can sit more behind the ball and be more defensive secure, which we've seen time and time again. England just don't have those creative players to break down this kind of team. So I think that helps. If England get ahead, it's going to turn into like an onslaught, which then either helps Mexico get back in it or it's going to let England hit them on the break and kind of look more comfortable. So I think the first, as I said, first 25 minutes up until the hydration break are going to be key. I'm going to lean Mexico just because I love them and I favour them. I'm feeling like a 1-0, 2-1 kind of situation for Mexico. I'm surprised how much money is going in on Mexico, quite honestly. Probably goes under 3.5. What is. Let's have a look what that is. So we want total goals under 3.5, which has been a cash cow in England games throughout many tournaments. And let's go. Let's see if they have double chance on here. It's probably going to be 2, or maybe not. This is quite appealing. So under 3.5 goals in the game, and Mexico to win or draw, which basically means Mexico can draw 0-0, 1-1, not 2-1 because we have under 3.5. So either a draw of 0-0, 1-1, or Mexico winning 1-0 or 2-0 or 2-1. So I quite like that. I don't know if it will make a client play because, as I said, if England get ahead, it's going to be tough for Mexico, even though they will throw everything at the game. But it's going to be hard to break down an English team if they get ahead, I think. So yeah, I'm going to lean Mexico and the under. Just want to let you guys know what we have up for clients, and my word has it been a great week. So obviously mentioned the week before has been not so good, but as I always say, I always seem to bounce back, and if you give me long enough, the profits over the last 5-6 years definitely show. I mean, the graphic kind of does the talking for itself here. 50 unit week after some more F1 cashes this morning. 35 units at Wimbledon with a play pending. We've got more World Cup plays. So really 50 unit week after what we had is just kind of shows it up. And this is why you don't sleep on these tennis majors. I mean, I've mentioned it time and time again, how successful they've been for me. I know we've had a couple of clients that subscribed and were down. I extended them for free, and now they're reaping the rewards of sticking with it for long enough. If you don't know what client plays are, these are the best bets that I've spent hours researching, what I recommend, how much you should put on it for bankroll management. I send these out to clients who subscribe on my DubClub, which we'll get to in a second. You then bet these plays, and we basically win together, and I make you a whole load of money. There's no other service that offers the kind of return which my service has in the last 6 years. I've made 100 plus units in like the last 3 or 4 years consistently, and it kind of just shows that if you're a long term client, it works. Um, Running the promo still of code 50 gets you 50% off a monthly subscription. You don't have to watch these sports, you don't have to have any interest in sport. If you like making money, it kind of, again, kind of all adds up, and it also saves you a huge amount of time. You think how long it takes to cover tennis majors alone. I spent days looking at, like, you can't follow these sports and have your time. So it's the time factor, I think, that also goes into it as well. If you want to get the client planes, let me load it back up. If you come over to my link me, that's in my bio and the top comment in the description, top comment even, and in the description, you can see a link to my DubClub, which is the top page, which takes you to this page, which kind of gives you some more information if you want it. The code is for the monthly subscription, so instead of being $70 for your first month, it's now 35. So yeah, you would have made all of that back and some, even if you're a small better. You don't have to bet big amounts of money to profit with this service. If you want to see what kind of plays we have, there's a spreadsheet here. Full disclosure, I haven't updated it for the last couple of weeks. I'm a little behind. The Wimbledon research took a huge amount of time. And then all the socials are here if you want to follow, post live bets, all of that fun stuff. If you have any questions, drop it in the comments, send me a message on Discord or X, whatever is easiest. Let's get back into it. The next game is Portugal versus Spain. Again, everyone knows where I'm going to go with this. If you're a regular watcher, I'm all over this Spanish team. Portugal came from behind against Croatia, although there were some questionable calls. I just think Spain are going to be far too much for them. You talk about Portugal's strongest areas, their midfield, but even that's looked a little bit leggy. I love this Spanish midfield. I definitely think they can hold their own with the likes of Rodri and Pedri. I think they'll just control the game and pop it around them. There isn't much press from Portugal, which was evident in some of their other games, where they just let teams control the ball and pop it around them without really much kind of pressing at all. Spain come into this game after beating Austria 3-0. They're just, the stars are flying in this team. I've mentioned it before. Orifable, Yamal, all of them are playing really well and linking up well. I think the Spanish just match up really well against the Portuguese. I think they have enough. So Portugal, they're not going to through ball it to Ronaldo. So I think Kubasi and Laporte can lock down Ronaldo in terms of just that like one touch finish. Then you've got Cucurella at left back, who I don't rate Cucurella, but again, he's playing against Pedro Neto, who's not exactly a world beater. I think that's good. The only concern is down the right with either Lorente or Pedro Porro playing against Leao. But again, Leao doesn't seem to have that final kind of product to really harm them. Uh, Again, the midfield, I think the possession's going to wear down this Portuguese side. I think Yamal versus Nuno Mendes is going to be a fun kind of matchup, but I think, again, even if it doesn't go that way, I think the Spanish have far too much. We mentioned Orifable pre-tournament to be top goal scorer for Spain, and each way for top goal scorer overall. That looks pretty promising so far. I like Spain in every kind of aspect, similar to the way I liked Morocco. I like them to advance at minus 220. I like them to win in 90 minutes, minus 110. And I love draw no bet if we can find it. There it is. It is minus 245. I don't know which way I'm going to go. I haven't put anything in on Spain yet, but I will definitely use probably the draw no bet or the two advance. I think, again, I think Spain are just too good for them in every kind of avenue. Even the bench I like more for the Spanish. So yeah, I think they're just going to wear this Portuguese aging side down, quite honestly. USA versus Belgium. This is probably one of my hardest games to call, quite honestly. I guess that shows in the odds with both of them -110 to advance. USA come into this game after beating Bosnia 2-0. I'm just unsure how this game goes. No Balogun for the US as he got sent off in the last game, who got the opener in the last match, and I think is their top goal scorer. Must be after he scored a hat trick in like the first game. So they really need Pepe, who I think comes in to replace him, to step up. On the flip side, Belgium are scraping through, but they haven't lost yet. They beat Senegal in extra time, coming back from 2-0 down with less than 10 minutes to play to score two. I've been a big supporter of Belgium throughout this tournament. I mentioned pre-match, I don't think they were going to surprise people in going to the quarters and semi-finals onwards, but I thought they would win and get out of the group, which some people were. I felt like it was the popular opinion to say Belgium were going to go out. I'm a lean Belgium, but I won't be surprised either way what happens with this result. I think they need more from Doku. Doku has had a great year for my team, Man City, and I think he needs to start firing. And I think this could be a good time. I think the US have some defensive issues down the right. I think that Doku could exploit with his pace. And then another prop that's been working really well, which I will probably go back to, is, let's see if we can find it. So it's De Bruyne. Oh, they, wow. It was De Bruyne 2+ shots at, it was around the -400, 500 marks and -900. So very crazy. I don't know if that's just DraftKings. I will shop around, but that's one that has paid off really well, is De Bruyne shots as well. Let's see. I feel like Pulisic 2 shots may be good. I don't know the stats off the top of my head, but again, without Balogun, it's going to have to come down the left-hand side from Pulisic, I think, is probably their best bet. Serginho Dest, I've got him not to score a goal, but I was going to say he takes at least a shot a game, even if it's wild. -650 isn't worth playing on a right back. So yeah, I'm going to lean Belgium. Their defense is very underrated, I think. It's not a world-breaking defense, but it's definitely been solid enough compared to what they've had in the past when they had some of those aging legs and they were just getting overrun every attack. So I'm probably going to lean like maybe like a 1-0, 2-1 kind of situation. Again, think it probably goes under in Belgium's favour. I'm sure quite a few of you US fans will tell me that I'll be wrong, and I will eagerly await to see those replies. Argentina versus Egypt. Argentina are obviously coming off that game against Cape Verde where they kept getting ahead and kept getting pegged back. But Messi continues to deliver at this World Cup, which I think is crazy. His longevity has been something, and he looks lazy when he walks around the pitch, but it's also so intelligent to conserve his energy and stay in positions where he can truly affect the game. I think they're just going to have too much again for Egypt, quite honestly, who themselves have looked lackluster in multiple games. I'm not convinced with this Egyptian side in the slightest. I like this Argentina money line at 285. I'm not sure if I want the to advance. If they have, well, they will have. What is the draw no bet line on this one as well? 1100. I don't really want to lay -1100 on this kind of match, but I think Argentina come through. It's probably juiced now. -155 on Messi to have a goal is not that bad. You can also get, I would shop around. These odds kind of vary quite heavily. You can also get like Messi to have an assist or a goal. I think that's a really good angle. Don't know what the price is off the top of my head, but I'm going to lean probably Argentina to win like 2-0. I think it'll be quite solid and an easy win against Egypt. And then on to the last game of this round is Swiss versus Colombia. I'm surprised. I thought the Swiss would be the favourites here. I like Colombia here as well. I think this is a low scoring game, but I like the Colombia side of it. They seem to control the game so well, and I think this game comes down to a midfield battle and who wins that. I think the Colombians probably do have the more pacey kind of fitness, and I think they're going to pop it around the Swiss again, like kind of like we saw them do to Portugal in that last match in the group stage. I think the Colombians have slight more flair and like cutting edge. However, neither team are particularly prolific in front of goal with that kind of finishing touch. let's see if we can make a. I've got an idea in mind. So I really like the under here. So let's go under 3.5, and then it's probably going to be juice, but double chance. Oh no, I want tie or Colombia. Minus 180 isn't the worst thing I've heard. You can easily take that minus 180 and put it with the France money line, for example, the Spain to score a goal, that kind of thing. So that would be under 3.5 goals in Switzerland, Colombia, and Colombia to win or draw. I think they're the better side on paper. I think at worst it ends in a draw. I really like that play and I would highly recommend it. As always with these kind of videos, let's end on the futures. Again, the money seems to keep coming in on France. You can't really argue with it. They definitely look the strongest side. Their firepower is frightening, quite honestly. But again, until I see them in a more important, not necessarily important game, but against a more competent opponent, I don't really feel like I can judge them. I need to see them against one of these like 4 or 5 teams. But again, you look outside. I don't trust England. I don't trust Brazil. I don't trust Portugal. So I think the winner, again, I'm sticking with, I think the winner comes from France or Spain. I think that match at some point will be electric. I still love the Spanish, but I do have a soft spot for them. Uh, have we got any other props worth looking at? Top goal scorer. Again, this is hotting up between the four of these. I think Haaland's not got many more games, maybe one more game in him, potentially 2 if he's lucky. Or a Fable, again, depends if Spain make it to the final. I think Messi already scored again last night, so all depends how far they go. I like where I'm sat with Vorafable each way. I think he's almost nailed on for each way returns at the least of it. Young player of the tournament. Again, I think it's going to come down to these top 2. Yamal, I think he hasn't been firing, but again, if Spain win or go far enough, it's just like an automatic. Like they'll give it to Yamal for the name aspect. I can't say his name, but Boudea. He's really impressed for Morocco. Obviously, the advantage of betting him is that I think he gets through this next round against Canada, whereas Yamal, on paper, although I think they're going to come through, has a slightly harder game. I'm surprised that Mbappe is the favourite. I guess that's because they think France is going to win the World Cup, as opposed to the top goal scorer kind of market. Do they have the bracket? So, because I will remind myself. Yeah, so if Morocco win this game, they play France in the next match, and that'll be a close match. But I'd still favour the French. So, whereas the Spanish, if the Spanish win, I think they beat Belgium or the United States, and if they win that, they then play France as well. So yeah, I think it all kind of leads to Yamal being young player of the tournament still. As I mentioned, if you want to join up with the client plays, it's been a hugely successful week. 50 units. Promo code 50 gets you 50% off a monthly subscription. Again, any questions, drop a comment, message me on X or Discord or anything. I'll happily explain in more detail. Good luck, everyone. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that fun stuff, and I will see you for the next round.